This is I think it's my third time in Toronto. If not, yes, third, that's right. And it's always jam-packed from one thing to the next. It's a great way of obviously bringing a film to the world's attention. And then amazing to see, I was just looking through the program last night and seeing all the wealth of cinema that is coming here for these few days, and wonderful stories and unexpected stories. It's a fantastic celebration of cinema.
Wanted to ask you about a subject that will not be difficult to talk about at all. Your co-star, Eddie Redmayne. You got the script around the same time. I believe he said, you called you up straight away, and you sort of made the commitment to one another. Hey, if you're in, I'm in. What is it about working with Eddie that is so special to you?
Well, I think with this project, because it's so much a two-hander, it felt as though it was a real shortcut to work with someone you'd worked with before, and so you weren't starting at the very beginning. And Eddie and I we really push each other. I think we're both crazy perfectionists, detail-obsessed people who it seems to work, even though it's a painful process sometimes.
To me, the film is so experiential. It's an incredible watch. I would love to see it in IMAX, which I know was discussed at one point. So I'm interested in sort of a two-part question. One, how it read then, and then, Tom Harper has directed episodic television before, but I think there's a fairly incredible scope to this movie. What is he like as a director?
He's brilliant. He's fantastic. He pushes me so much, and that's what I loved about the experience, and also was very difficult about it. It was physically an incredible experience of endurance, of portraying what this woman goes through. And Tom was excellent at just going, one more take, no more, you can do that better. He was just constantly finding the naturalism in the performances, which he does in everything he makes, which is why I wanted to work with him.
And the technical element or the blue screen, was that something, obviously you've worked on big movies before that have those elements, but was that something that was difficult given the, I guess, more natural setting of the film?
Yes, well, it's one of those things you never quite know how on earth this is going to work, because we would be in a blue screen room for weeks on end, and you think this can't possibly translate and be realistic as the sky. You're looking at kind of orange cross marks on a screen, and then to see it actually for the first time properly fully finished was in Telluride. It was such an adventure, and just seeing, oh my gosh, everything they said they were going to do, they pulled off, and the visual effects are superb.
Your character, Amelia, is a composite character, so she's mostly based on Sophie Blanchard, I believe. I'm interested in, I guess, research. Was it specifically kind of centered around Sophie Blanchard, and/or did you explore the era more broadly? Because to me, it's this interesting intersection of science and adventure that is a very unique time.
Yes. Yeah, it was probably a combination of all of those things. I looked deeply at Sophie Blanchard as a sort of the kind of DNA of Amelia Wren, I felt, was her. And then obviously Amelia Earhart is the sort of namesake of Amelia Wren, who's a big inspiration. I looked at a lot of those old pictures, those of her in her flying jacket, and the energy, and also understanding a woman pushing against her time in a time where you're a bit of an anomaly for doing what you do. She was a great reference for that. And then, as you say, I mean, it's a wonderful period in history. It's the Victorian era where you have all this great change, this huge, it's not dissimilar to where we are now, actually, in terms of the technological revolution. Then you had the Industrial Revolution. So suddenly the way people did things is completely exploding, and people, all of this knowledge is happening, as you say, science is shifting, and it is what's happening now. Technology is changing the world, and none of us have a clue what's going on, really.
That's true, I think, especially me. Wrapping up, the film, your characters address this in the film, and I know you've talked about it as well, that when you're in a hot air balloon or a gas balloon, you're going up, you experience this incredible silence, right? Mm-hmm. You're above Earth, and the acoustics are very different and interesting. For you in your own life, is silence something that you need professionally, to help build a character, or are you able to exist in a lot of clutter and clatter?
Well, you sort of feel like you do need silence, and you set your desk up and you're in your study and you're going to do your very concentrated work. And then the moment you sit down, all you want to do is just start Googling something totally irrelevant. So I've often found, actually, I work better with a lot of noise and with a lot of chaos around me, which would seem counterintuitive. But actually going to cafes and being around other people, weirdly, I find you can sometimes get more focus. But I think on set, interestingly, silence is important. I think for a scene to work or a moment to work, you need absolute focus from every element. It's such a team endeavor that everyone has to be so on point.